Hi, Karen Carreras Hubbard here, and I am on the quest for another article on Christopher Columbus, as this is for a compare and contrast type of an assignment. I'm looking for other points of view, and I did a search of Christopher Columbus and indigenous people and Native American people. I did a couple of searches, and I found this article in Gale. Now, Gale is, of course, another database. This is Academic One file. And the article is entitled Thief, Slave Trader, Murderer, Christopher Columbus and the Caribbean Population Decline. So it definitely sounds like it is going to be a different point of view from the last article. The first thing I'm going to look for is the authors. And the authors, there are two of them, Tink Tinker and Mark Freeland. So it's written by two people. I'm going to go ahead and just click on Tink Tinker. It's an unusual name. So let me see. I don't know if it's a male or a female offhand. And not that it matters, but I don't know whether to call them a he or she, so I will say they. And I noticed they've got 8 academic journals that they have written for. And again, I had done the initial search looking for scholarly articles. They have written for this Wakazo Sa Review, which I have never heard of, but we'll look into that in a second. They've also written for the Journal of Feminist Studies and Religion. That is an established journal, as well as Ecumenical Review, Journal of the American Academy of Religion. Again, another established publication, Theological Studies, Journal of Church and State. So they have written for major academic journals. Okay, so again, I'm trying to see what kind of a reputation the author has. I'm going to do a search, or I did a search actually, so I did initially put it in here for Tink Tinker, and I didn't look at it too carefully, but okay, so Tink Tinker. Oh, okay, so there are some videos, and it is, he is a he, and he is at this School of Theology, which I'm not familiar with, but it's the ILF, and he's got a background PhD from Theological Union, Pacific Lutheran Theological Seminary for his master's in divinity. And this is the ILF School of Theology in Denver. Don't know anything about that, but I'm actually going to look at the for the organization also. So let me just kind of see if I can pull that up. School of Theology. So let's see what they are, who they are. They're in Colorado. Okay, it looks like a large institution. Let me just take a look at the Wikipedia, because sometimes that gives me something real quick. So, all right there. Okay, so it's a Graduate Methodist Theological Institute. Okay, one of 13 seminaries in the United States. So this is a established institution that he is a professor at. Okay, so, the man seems to have impeccable credentials here. Again, you want to look at all these things to see, who wrote this article, what is their background. According to Wikipedia, he is an American Indian scholar who is known for his work on American liberation theology. Okay, and he looks like he's been celebrated on April 12th, 2018, with a program endowment fund in his name. So, okay, so it does look like a viable candidate as a scholarly author. Wakazo Sa Review is published by the University of Minnesota Press. So if I go and look them up, there they are. And it says the Wakazo Sa Review, during the past 2 decades, American Native Studies has emerged as a central arena in which Native American populations in the United States define cultural, religious, legal, and historical parameters of scholarship and creativity essential for the survival in the modern world. So this is important because we talked about privilege before. It's important that we also see points of view as articulated by different populations. And in this case, in speaking about Columbus is only one half of the story. If you're looking at a European or a white American point of view, what is the native people's point of view of Christopher Columbus? And part of the problem of over the last couple centuries is that Native Americans and First Peoples didn't have the opportunity to have a voice even. They were not part of academia. As this man has a doctorate, he has worked in an academic institution, but that was not an opportunity that many Native Americans had until recently. So this is what you might call a nascent point of view, simply because the people that are espousing it didn't have the opportunity to be heard. There was no publications for those individuals. There were no academic opportunities. So, looking at the article itself, it is kind of lengthy. If I go down to the bottom, which is something I always do, I look and see, okay, there's at least over 60 works cited. So they have cited all their sources. And I see a graph here where they're showing population decline of the Tainos, which are Caribbean people, from over 7 million, almost 8 million, down to 20,000 between 1492 and 1542. And I presume, guessing from the title of the article, that they are probably going to tie that to Columbus. So this is going to give a different point of view of Columbus's role in history. So a different point of view that did not, from people that did not have the opportunities to give a point of view before the latter part of the 20th century. And I'm not going to read the article, but I'm just sort of glancing down just the fact that they're using the term Columbian quincentenary. The Columbus's 500th anniversary, they put it in small c, so that says something, and that they're referring to him not as Columbus, which is the Latinized name, but as his real name, Cristobal Colon. And the point of the article is to examine evidences for the decline in indigenous populations of the island of Hispaniola, or under the 8-year governorship of Columbus, and to demonstrate his immediate responsibility for that precipitous decline. So this is again going to frame Columbus's place in history in terms of his treatment of Native people. Again, so this might very well be an excellent article for your contrasting article.